Good evening to the Lowell Planning Board for February 22nd, 2024. The first matter on the agenda will be the approval of the February 5th, 2024 Planning Board minutes. Any of the board members have any corrections? Any other statements in regards to the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I second the motion.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Those motions have been approved. So tonight, first of all, I want to start off by welcoming our new planning board member, Attorney Dan Tanzar. Dan will be replacing Bob Malavich's position, where unfortunately Bob left us when he passed away way too soon back in August. Dan has familiarity with public service. He served on the zoning board of appeals as well as the Lowell City Council, and is a practicing attorney in the greater Lowell area. So we welcome Dan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And on a sad note, Ms. Galvin's leaving us today, Sinead, and we're gonna miss her due to time constraints with her full-time job. She's been with us for over 4 years, and she's been our architect on the board, and we're really gonna miss her. So tonight she will be voting on several matters, and we're gonna wish her the best of luck and very much miss her. So,
Thank you, and I'm glad we have a new member. That's exciting.
thank you.
Good timing.
So looking at the agenda, what I'd like to do, if there's no objections, is waive the order of the agenda and take the application for the special permit extension. So 725, 749 Merrimack Street. Merrimack Street Real Estate Development Corp. has applied to the Lowell Planning Board to request a special permit extension for an additional period of 2 years. May we hear the applicant on that matter?
Attorney James Harrington for the applicant. Brian McGowan with Franco-American Holdings is here with me, with Attorney Panchatakis as well. We're, over the past couple of years, Mr. McGowan's been focusing on finishing up the project over at the Franco-American School. There's been, some other potential alternative uses over on this property, which were under consideration in the meantime as well. So we're looking for an extension so we can get back and start focusing his efforts on this property. So,
Thank you, Counsel.
thank you.
Anybody here this evening want to speak in regards to the extension? Anybody in regards to the extension? Hearing none. At this point in time, any of the board members have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, I will be abstaining on this vote.
Okay. Any questions by board members? Mr. Tenza?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, to Attorney Harrington. The last 2 years, what has been done during this project? What has been completed? I drove by the project, and right now, it looks like it's been sitting idle.
Yeah, there's been any new construction within the project, within the, it's the main church hall
Yep,
building which is going to involve more substantial cost. So he has not.
And it's expected that within the next 2 years, he'll be able to complete that?
Commence it. I don't know that he'll complete it. That's going to be a substantial project within.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
It's my understanding he also did the Sacred Heart. Is it Sacred Heart or Franco?
Franco.
Franco.
Yeah.
Did a nice job with that. I'm just looking to keep the ball rolling, that's all.
Yeah, it's, with the way construction has been in this climate, things tend to take a little longer. Yeah. So.
Market.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. Any other board members, any comments? Hearing none.
I have none.
Mr. Lockhart, you're zooming in. Any questions on the extension?
I have no questions at all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the extension for 2 year period.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Lockhart. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Any opposition? Hearing none, that matter is approved. Good luck and wish you well.
Thank you.
Good luck, Jimmy.
Okay, going back to the agenda, we have a site plan review on 20 Peyton Street. This is Ida Verde Group, LLC, has applied to Lowell Planning Board to operate a marijuana production manufacturing facility at the above address. The subject property is located in the light industrial zoning district. Proposal requires site plan review approval pursuant to section 7.10 and section 11.4 from the Lowell Planning Board, and any further relief required under the zoning ordinance. So this is a continuation from a matter that we had, I believe, 2 months ago. So Attorney Kenzar won't be voting because he wasn't at the previous meeting. And Richard, I don't think you were at the previous meeting on this, were you, Mr. Lockhart?
There was one on January 4th, was it?
No, but no, this one was predated that one, right? I don't think you're here on on this one here for the marijuana situation? Being on that one,
that
man?
was-
It was a while ago, right? What was the last date you were here?
I think it is January 4th.
Oh, January 4th, okay, I'm sorry. You were the January 4th, Richard?
I'm not sure I was there, Tom.
Okay.
Um,
Friend's gonna double check.
yeah.
'Cause I know there was one that you missed and then you were back to the next one.
I'm,
It was just January 4th,
Okay,
and I don't think Richard was there.
okay. She hasn't recalled you being there, okay, so it'll just be the four members, Ms. Galvin, myself, and Mr. Bichette, and Caleb voting on that matter. So, may we hear from the applicant? I know we, went over some matters last time, and it was continued to try to get more information before the board for tonight's meeting. So can we have the applicant, please?
Yes, hello. My name is Katrina Savage. I'm Rodney Taylor's partner for Isla Verde Group. And we are following up on the missing documents. Rodney, if you wouldn't mind handing them closer over to them. So the abutters have been notified. There are no upstairs tenants to disturb up there. In terms of the letters of approval we were missing, we have obtained one from the city engineer. That's the first email in the pile of documents. And I can read that out. It says, comments made to the planning board in relation to the parking layout in front of 20 Peyton should be considered as a suggestion and not a requirement. After additional review and discussion with the city traffic engineer, we have come to the decision that while the parking layout is not to current standards, the roadway is of low volume and the work necessary to reconfigure the parking lot is not proportional to the scope of the project. Being that we only have a 400 or even less than that square foot space, we're never going to have more than 5 people present in that room at once. So that should give an indication of, how many cars are going to be parked there. The next letter that we have is the fire department approval. And it states that the Lowell Fire Prevention Bureau has received and reviewed the initial site plans for the marijuana processing facility for 20 Peyton Street. I have no conditions as presented and consider these initial plans approved by my office. Permits can be issued upon Tier 2 plan review for fire protection elements if needed. And then we obtain the police approval,
what's happening?
and I will read that now. This is from Mark LeBlanc. The applicant, Isla Verde Group LLC, submitted a security plan to the Lowell Police Department as well as proposed floor plans and proposed renovations to the site that indicate the site will be designed to provide convenient, safe, and secure access and egress for clients and employees arriving to and leaving from the site. The applicant has designated Rodney Taylor as the off-site staff member with direct interaction with the on-site security and city police. The security plan, proposed floor plans, and proposed renovations have been reviewed by the Lowell Police Department, and we do not see any concerns at this time, provided that the applicant adheres to the requirements of 935 CMR 500.1110, or .110, as well as any other pertinent rules and regulations. However, final approval of the security plan shall be granted by the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission prior to operation, which is part of the standard process. And he's left his email and phone number if there are any questions about that. The next document that should be in our pile there should be the blueprints. We're not making any external modifications to the building, so there's nothing to really comment on there. For the interior, we are going to occupy a portion of the second floor. Again, this floor has no other occupants. It's in a demo process right now from a previous storage facility. So it's just a lot of pallets and things up there that are going to be moved out. They do have a room that we have had on leasehold for about 1.5 years now. And we hired an architect, JLA Interiors, who's actually built many marijuana establishments and is familiar with adhering to the compliance. So we had them create our new floor plans that were also missing last time. to address the walls, the windows, the door, the safe that we're going to put in a closet. So those comments, you may see there's very fine print for the floor plans, and I'd like to just read some of those comments so that you can actually, because it's hard to read. So some of them are: the general contractor to install steel security bars on the interior and exterior of the building facade, however you say that. Existing windows to remain undisturbed. The general contractor will install 3M vinyl frosted film for privacy and security. There will be wall-mounted stainless steel work surfaces, and the general contractor will furnish interior walls with metal studs and gypsum board. There will be a new security closet for safe storage. The general contractor is going to bolt the safe to the floor and provide necessary substrate under the new flooring installation. Existing windows that are inside in the building that look into another office will be removed, and the closet will be going in front of there. The general contractor is going to bolt the safe to the floor. Sorry, I read that part. They're going to patch the opening of the walls. There's a gap. They're going to patch that up, and we're going to be installing a drop ceiling. The exterior existing area is going to be clad with metal studs, and there will be a steel security door and a security system provided from ADT. And that was part of the security plan that was submitted to the police that they had reviewed. So we'll be having a drop ceiling with 2x2 panels and light grids, and we'll have a carbon filtered return and supply vent system. So there will be 2 of those in the ceiling. In addition, for odor mitigation, the architect identified the AirMedic Pro 5 air purifier as a medical grade air purifying system, which the police agreed as well should be sufficient for such a small space, and that we have a storage facility like in the safe where everything's kept, in the closet, in the closed room, that is filtered in 2 different ways. And let's see, for the one challenge that we still face is with the Waste and Disposal Department. We have been trying to get approval for them for many months. Francesca had also reached out, and they're just not responding. When we speak to them, they just don't seem to want to cooperate or say it's like not what they do. However, our waste and disposal plan actually doesn't require the waste department's involvement, although maybe we do need this letter. We're not going to employ their services because there's a private trash collection service, and so any non-cannabis material is going to be diverted to the private trash collection there, the dumpster on site. Any material that is actually cannabis that may be contaminated, for instance, and need to be disposed of, is going to be rendered unusable by mixing it with organic material like food waste, dirt, coffee grounds. All of that is in compliance with the CCC's regulations. So long as that it is under 1 ton of waste, that's how they plan to handle it. And there are just other regulations for doing that. Like there would be 2 agents on site who see that product being rendered unusable and can sign off on that. And the date the material is sent for composting is recorded, type and amount of material managed, the name, location, and type of facility to which the material is delivered, the manner of disposal and handling, the name and signatures of those 2 agents who witnessed the material management. So all those records are kept on file for 3 years. So we don't really know what to do about the waste department. The person that we really needed at this particular time is on vacation this week, so we emailed the commissioner to see if we could get ahead that way, but we just haven't received a response. So I don't know if it's something that may be able to be waived since we're not involving them, but if so, we would love to take that opportunity if possible. And with that, that's all I believe that we needed to follow up on. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. At this point in time, anybody here like to speak in favor of this project? Anybody in favor? Favor, favor, hearing none, anybody like to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none, at this point in time, we'll turn it over to the board members. Any board members have any questions or concerns?
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yes, Mr. Boucher.
First of all, I want to compliment the applicant for at least addressing everything that had been brought up at the prior meeting. For the most part, you've received the letters from the police and fire. I guess for the solid waste, it's funny because this is everything I've highlighted on the zoning ordinance, and in your proposal, actually, that was, so it was nice to see the extra material, because I saw that as being kind of a missing piece to the puzzle. Is it our waste and recycling here in the city that you haven't been getting a response from, or?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess, Fran, and I'm just gonna read from our own zoning ordinance, 7.10.5, number 6. The applicant shall submit a secure solid waste disposal and recycling plan to be approved by Solid Waste and Recycling, Lowell Fire Department, and Lowell Police Department. I think we need to talk to our solid waste and recycling, because it's part of our zoning
Right.
requirement.
It's not,
I nudged them multiple times as well, and like made them aware of the timetable that we're working on.
Right.
And I just haven't received a response, so I can escalate it, to my supervisor
If-
to try to force some.
If, I mean, I have no problem,
Yeah.
for myself, speaking for myself, approving it subject to receiving
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
But
I think.
they need to know it's in our
Yeah,
zoning
I mean, we're
ordinance.
not gonna issue
Yeah.
a building permit.
Right.
Until all of the conditions of approval are met,
Right.
so,
Yeah, because this is it's not a may or, the
Right.
applicant shall submit and,
it doesn't specify when,
no,
so I think that could potentially be the answer.
post, as a condition, so. No, we wanted the floor plan that showed the security, and the police were able to sign off on it, and, the parking, and again, if you end up with 5 employees, I think it's gonna be a little hairy, but, I'll go along with the traffic engineer at this time. And, so from my perspective, other than the fact that going into this meeting, looking at the material that was submitted, without even seeing this tonight, which I appreciate this, because I flagged from your other, and even it said here, we'll invest in high-quality ventilation system, equipment, and state-of-the-art odor control technologies, and this all sounds great, but that's why I was curious, is what kind of system is it gonna be?
Right.
And so you've addressed that here, and the fire has signed off on it, so, yeah, so from my perspective, I'm satisfied with the application. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Caleb, any questions?
So just to clarify, so for waste and recycling, you're relying on the private trash
Yes.
company, right?
Yeah, there's a dumpster on site, so anything that does not have that herb material in it would go to
I
that
see.
dumpster.
So I think the condition for just, I think probably more informational for waste and recycling.
I think they have to sign off.
Yeah, they will have to
That's
sign
the
off.
requirement in the zoning
Okay.
ordinance, they have to
Got
sign
it.
off, so, yeah.
That should be straightforward,
Yeah.
I'll foresee. And regarding the architect, so are there any concerns regarding any leakage of, like, what's we concern most is odor from the building envelope, or?
No.
She said that the unit that she suggested is more than ample for the space, and once the HVAC company hooks it up,
Okay.
it should be no odor outside the building, no odor in the building.
Got it.
If we keep the carbon filters up.
And the air purifier.
I see. So help me understand, so like the HVAC will be part of just the building-wide system, but
Actually,
Just
yeah,
for a
it's
room.
going to be isolated to its own, so that it doesn't circulate throughout the building.
okay, and there's an air handler and a condenser outside, or?
It's a standalone unit.
Oh, I know I know you're regarding the purifier, right?
Yeah.
But how about just
The carb-
ACU wise?
Yeah, that's a self-contained system, so that it won't go into the rest of the building. There is a retail operation downstairs, so.
I see.
Yeah.
And is that standalone system only for this particular space? Mm-hmm. And there's like a mini split or some type of
Yeah,
system
it's,
there?
So they're gonna exit it out to directly from the room, so it's not mixing with the
Other
existing
people.
ventilation system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this, I'm interpreting this. So the air purifier system will be used to to purify the air as it circulates the room. So supposingly, the air coming out of the room would have no odor because
Yeah.
the air purifier will be working.
Well, the air purifier is medical grade, so it filters out a lot, but the carbon filters are actually what helps deodorize.
I see.
So that will go through the ceiling.
So
and
the carbon
the-
filters will be
on the
with the
other floor.
HVAC system, right?
Yes.
Okay.
To the purifier.
Yeah, connected to purifier. Okay. Well, thank you. Just want to make sure we understand how it works. And I agree with my fellow member that you good job for addressing all the concern. I think parking is what it is. I take the comment from the city engineer and transportation engineer as well. So I think I see a good project here.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Caleb. Sinead, any questions?
Yeah, I just have one question. I might have missed it in the packet or in your description, but I didn't see any letter from the fire department. I saw the police department.
Oh, it may just be missing from your hard copies, but
Yeah.
I believe
If
it's
it exists, That's
uploaded.
fine. I didn't have it, so
Uh-huh.
I was just curious. I might have missed it in your description.
yep.
But that was my only question. But if everyone else had it.
That's the police.
Yeah, I saw the police.
Yeah,
no.
Blanket police.
Yeah, no, I got the file.
And I don't know if it would suffice, but I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
digital copy in front of me.
Yeah, it was the police, the
Yeah.
blank for police.
Yeah, right there, there it is. An electronic format.
Caleb has one on that. Show the Danny as well if he has any questions.
No worry.
Approved it.
Great. That was my only
Okay,
question.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Attorney Tanzara, any questions? No. Rich Lockhart, any questions, Rich?
No, I don't.
Okay. Obviously, I was happy to see the one from the police department, because as I explained last time, it has to come first before we get to us.
Right.
Without that, we can't do it. And obviously, I think we just got it recently, so, which is good to see, so I was happy with that. But that had a lot of my concerns, and like I say, we'll have to deal with whatever we feel for that, to finalize on the waste department, which Mr. Fischetta addressed. But besides that, I have no further comments on that, so. So what's the request of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the application with the following conditions, that the applicant obtain the approval from the city's waste and recycling as required per 7.10.5, number 6 of the City of Lowell zoning ordinance. And also as a standard, we always put in here, there's state minimum requirements for odor control, but we also issue a condition that you will comply with any concerns raised by the City of Lowell relative to odor mitigation. And again, it's in case there's any issues as a result of the operation. So.
I second the motion.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes, any opposition, hearing none, the project is approved, 4 in favor, none against. Good luck, we
Thank you
wish you
so
well.
much. We appreciate it,
You're
y'all.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along on the agenda, we have Chrisman Ave. Definitive subdivision approval, 21 Chrisman Ave. The applicant is seeking definitive subdivision approval to split the existing lot into 3 lots. The applicant intends to construct a single-family home on each new lot. The subject property is located in a traditional single-family zoning district. The newly created lot will not comply with the minimum frontage requirements per section 5.1 of the Lowell zoning ordinance. The project requires definitive subdivision approval from the Lowell Planning Board under Lowell subdivision of land regulations. The applicant has also applied for the required zoning board approval.
Mr. Chairman, before you hear any testimony, I will be recusing myself on this application.
Okay. So we'll have all of us here present, including our new matter, and Mr. Lockhart all voting on this matter. Okay, so can we have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board, and welcome back, Mr. Lockhart. We missed you. Good to see you back. For the record, Matt Hammer with Lamplex Engineering, 10 George Street, Lowell, Mass. We're here before you this evening to for a definitive subdivision application for 3 lots that were created through a zoning board of appeals decision, which was a unanimous decision by the zoning board of appeals last week. That decision is now on file at the clerk's office, and it's in its appeal period. That decision that was issued by the zoning board of appeals had 2 conditions specific, which were to obviously comply with the engineering comments that were provided to the record, which are the same engineering comments provided for this record for tonight's hearing. And also, we're going to have 3 shade trees put out in front of each of the individual parcels along Chrisman Ave. So as you recall, this project was before the board for a veterans housing project. That project is currently in an appeal, which the zoning board more or less denied that application for neighborhood character and its density on the property. That was, taken from the owner, which is Landsmart LLC. Went in and spoke to all the neighbors, and all the neighbors expressed that they'd rather see 3 single-family homes. And through that, we actually have a petition from all the neighbors in support of that.
Thank you.
I wanted to add, at the zoning board of appeals meeting, we did not have anyone in opposition of this project. And in fact, some of the neighbors were kind enough to show up at the meeting and speak in favor of that proceeding. So that was important as well. And now that we have the lots created through the zoning board of appeals, we're here before the planning board for a definitive subdivision to show that the project has suitable utilities to service the individual lots. We're on an existing public way, which is Chrisman Avenue. And usually in a definitive subdivision process, you're creating something where you need to bring those utilities to the lots that you're creating in order to provide safe access and have adequate utilities and drainage and all those things that are normally required under a definitive subdivision application, of which this project has. We have sewer and water out in Chrisman Ave. We have individual drainage systems that are fully detailed in the plan set that we've submitted. We had some minor comments from the engineering department that we are fully going to comply with, all of which are, as I said previously, are included in a condition of approval that was by the zoning board of appeals. And we're going to show 3 single-family homes on each of the 3 lots. They're generally all the same size, all the same configuration in terms of the driveways in the building. One of the variances that we requested for each of the lots was to push the building back into the parcel, and if so we have a maximum that you can push a building back, which is 20 feet. So you have between 15 and 20 feet to site a building. And what we wanted to do was to ensure that we could turn a vehicle and come out into Chrisman Ave face forward. So a lot of times we do buildings, if you have that 20 feet setback, it's very difficult to turn around a vehicle to come out forward. One of the concerns at the meeting that we've heard from the abutters was that Chrisman Ave is a very busy road. It's directly across from the on-ramp to 495. And we just wanted to make sure that when these vehicles are leaving the site, that they can have themselves face forward. And that's why we pushed the building back and provided a little turnout area so that the vehicles can all be turned around within the site so that they can come out onto Chrisman Ave in a safe manner. That was one of the concerns that the abutters were having related to the prior project. Even though this is a completely different project, we just wanted to make sure that we understood their concerns related to that. Secondly, these are 3 single-family homes. The prior project that we submitted on this project was a one-building structure, had a number of units within the structure, and there was some concerns that it wasn't fitting into the neighborhood. So we've taken this plan, we've taken this proposed rendering. We also have elevations and floor plans for this building, and we feel as though this building will fit into the neighborhood in terms of the other single-family homes that are located within the general area itself. We actually provided a handout, which is an exhibit plan showing all the single-family homes that are in red, of which you'll see a number of single-family homes in the general area. We feel as though that these 3 parcels are going to fit in nicely with the area, likely to add value to other homes in the area, and we feel as though that this is going to be a nice addition to the area as opposed to the other project that we had provided. Each driveway and impervious area to the roof and the driveway will be directed to an infiltration drainage system. There's calculations provided that meet the stormwater team's requirements, which is the City of Lowell's review department for stormwater. We've done soil testing. We understand the hydrology of the underlying soils in the groundwater, and we feel as though that the drainage system is greatly going to improve essentially a property that had no drainage, and now that drainage is now going to be facilitated completely within the properties themselves and will meet the requirements of the Lowell stormwater team. And as I said before, we have sewer and water for typical connections there. One of the comments from the engineering department was that the existing curb cut will be restored back to what would be City of Lowell's specifications with vertical granite curbing and sidewalk restoration and things of that nature, which we will fully comply with. And then I can put it to the board for any questions.
Just the one question on the petition. Am I reading this right? It says, "We below reject the variance approval under section 6.1?"
I think,
Yeah,
I
these
think
are the
it's an
wrong ones.
incorrect.
I mean, that's what I'm reading.
This
Take a
is,
look.
this is Waverly and Belrose. This is over in Belvedere.
Yeah, you gave us the wrong one as well.
It's not South Lowell.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we,
I apologize. I had
I'm like, wait a minute, yeah.
I had gone to
I'm
the
looking to see, I go, none of them was on Christmas Ave either.
I had gone to the Department of Planning and Development and asked for a copy, and I didn't honestly look at the copy they gave me because I didn't have my original copy.
Well, we'll give you those back anyway.
I do have a copy in the office.
Okay.
I can grab it.
No, I take your word for it. Okay, I'll just say, we do read some of the stuff you give us.
Keeping us on our toes.
Yeah. But you indicated, getting back to that the neighbors did show up and they
Well,
were in favor.
I think that Francesca could contest that
That's true.
Was that meeting, the ZBA? Okay.
that we do have a full letter of support from the abutters. I'm sure an abutter this evening can tell you that they've signed that
Okay.
letter of support, and I apologize for not reading that. So we do have a full letter of support from all the abutters. It was in excess of 25, I know that.
I know last time we had the petition of 90 against.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you had to remind me of that.
Yeah, I still have a copy.
Yeah, so, but anyways, we feel this is a great project. I know it wouldn't be a condition of the approval. I don't think the board has the ability to condition that we would withdraw our petition, our appeal of the prior approval that was denied by the planning board, but we would be withdrawing the appeal for the veterans housing upon the appeal period being over. If we gain an approval from the planning board, we would immediately withdraw that.
Yeah, but I think what happens is, if you decide to go forward in the land court, you have to just file a motion to withdraw the.
Yeah, and we would do that immediately, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and some people, you still have to file it with in appeals court, but then, even though, if we accept on this, this is a subsequent action, which basically overrules, what we tried to decide before. But I mean, basically, it was a 2-2 vote, so it was a denial, but you can still proceed on that. But if we approve this, I'm sure the court would say, no, you already got what you wanted, so, but the formality legally would be just to file the motion to withdraw and send a copy to the law department. I believe Attorney Broderick came up from the law department, so I spoke with him on that appeal several times. Because he's new to our law department, but I've known him for a while. So, okay, anything further on behalf of the applicant, Matt?
That's it, Chairman.
All right, this time I'll turn it over to the public. Anybody like to speak in favor of this project? Anybody in favor? In favor? In favor? Hearing none. Anybody in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none. Any of the board members have any questions? Sinead, can I start with you?
Yes, you can.
I know you and I are the ones who didn't like the last drawing, so I'll start with you, because
Yeah.
I think this is an improvement, so.
Yeah, I'll say I agree. I think that this is an improvement. I'm glad to see that it's more in compliance with the zoning of the traditional single-family zoning. And I imagine that was in response, like you said, to the neighbors and to the abutters pushback, and also probably to our board decision. So I just will recognize that. I think this is an improvement. The only thing that I am not in agreement with is the setback, pushing it from the 20-foot front yard setback to the 40-foot setback, mostly because I actually think that the lots could be quite nice with a nice backyard. And this makes it a lot more auto-oriented and less in character with the neighborhood by pushing it to not meet that to have that variance. So that's my comment, is that I actually think it would be, if I was living in that property, and as a planner and architect, that it would be a more usable site to have a larger backyard. Right now, the front yard is essentially parking, and the backyard becomes very small. I'm wondering if there was any response or any conversation with the city traffic engineer about the safety of pulling in and out of that street. I know you said it was raised during a public meeting, but I'm just curious if there was.
There was not negative comments from the traffic engineer. I can say that with it being so busy, I'm just saying that there is a benefit that being pushed back a little bit because it is so busy out front, that it provides the house more protection by able to be landscaping the front area into providing some buffer from the roadway by being set back. But it does limit your backyard by being set back, but there are some benefits from being away from, it is a very busy area. So I think it could be a benefit
Yeah, I mean,
on that.
I guess I would say there's a lot of, I think, busy areas in Lowell, and unless there was like a true safety concern raised by the city traffic engineer, I back out of my driveway. I think a lot of people do in a city. So that's my comment, is that I think that it should be the 20-foot setback in the front yard.
So you got the variance to push it back?
I did get the variance to push it back,
Okay.
and they found it to be a benefit for the reasons that I explained earlier about being able to face forward.
I understand.
And I actually do go through this area just about every day, and it's an odd area with the way it's a cut through to go to Tewksbury, vice versa, and it's a cut through to also, to get into the highway area, and it, just so happens in front of these three lots. The activity of getting in onto the on-ramp to the 495.
So is the setback not under our purview tonight? I guess I get a
No.
little bit confused
No,
when these
no,
things are.
No, because
in front
this
of
is just
us.
a definitive subdivision, so it's
So
not the
it's
site
only the
plan.
subdivision?
Yeah, so it's just a
Okay.
site plan where they got the variance from the ZBA, yeah.
But it's not the site plan, it's only the subdivision, right?
So
Right. So definitive subdivision, yeah, so there's no site plan.
Just to make sure-
essentially
yeah.
the definitive, essentially definitive subdivision approval is to ensure that there's adequate utilities and access to the
And
property,
that's frontage on a public way.
Well,
and that you're on a public way,
yeah.
correct?
Well, I disagree with disagree with the ZBA, but other than that, I don't have any issues, so I will rest my case.
Caleb, any questions?
I think one observation is, like, I know one of the stormwater drainage is small area, but it's a different model, or the underground,
There's some subsurface drainage out in front of the buildings.
and then the one on the right is a different model, so.
What we do is we pitch the driveways
Yeah.
to this infiltration trench.
Okay.
And that infiltration trench is connected with a pipe to the subsurface infiltration trench
Got it.
out in front of the house.
Yeah, I'm just noticed the one on the right is smaller, but it's a
just a
different model.
calculation.
Oh, okay. But they all will comply with the stormwater
Correct.
team, okay, requirement. Okay. Where would you put the straight trees, like approximately?
Here.
Okay.
Towards the street then, huh?
Yeah.
Would there be any concern about sight lines or,
Yeah, there'll be setbacks, so there's no site
okay.
issues.
And do you have an idea what trees you might put?
Going to be 2-inch diameter shade trees.
Okay.
Typically, we work with DPD with a landscaping plan with the landscaper at the time. They're going to
Got it.
landscape the properties, and they'll work with the DPD department to determine what trees would be sufficient for those.
Okay. Yeah, and I agree. It's it more fitting to the neighborhood with single family houses. So I recognize that, and the map that you did. So I would support the proposal. Thank you.
Mr. Lockhart, do you have any questions, comments, Richard?
Yes, I have a question regarding a memo, we received from the Joseph Cady, the engineer, on February 6, 2024. It's titled Application Review, 21 Chrisman Avenue. And he's got a number of points here that will, really button up this project. And my question is simply, does the applicant have any problem with anything on here? Or can we give this an approval?
We do not, Mr. Lockhart.
Hello?
Yes, we do not have any problem with any of the comments.
Could you hear him, Richard? He said they're all set on the comments.
I wouldn't approve that.
Oh, I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. He's also,
I think, also, I believe that was a condition that was approved by the zoning board of appeals, that they have to go by all the comments as did by the city engineer.
That's correct, Mr. Linney.
okay,
So that was one of the conditions from the ZBA as well, Richard, yeah.
right.
Anything else, Rich?
Yes, and just one regarding a stormwater permit approval. Is that
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to
being
get
done,
that.
or I'm not even sure that it's necessary here, but it is mentioned somewhere in the verbiage that,
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the projects in the city of Lowell have to obtain a stormwater permit.
okay. All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Richard. Mr. Tenza?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, Mr. Chair, I kind of agree with my colleague on the driveway. I'm looking at that and I'm like, it reminds me of Cement City. In Lowell, we have a lot of driveways or a lot of front yards that are nothing but pavement. I don't find it attractive, but from what I'm hearing, we have no real say in that. I think the zoning board was very generous with what they've approved, obviously based on your work and working with the neighborhood. So they felt that this was a good proposal. I think this does definitely fit in with the neighborhood. I just hate the driveway, and I would agree, I think it would be more saleable if it was a shorter driveway and they had a better backyard for families.
You know, one thing I could add to that, Mr. Tenzar, is we don't have a garage on this building. So we're gonna have to accommodate the 2 vehicles. So we're gonna need to at least have that amount of pavement for 2 vehicles to be accommodated on the property. And that also is why there's more pavement too. They were just smaller lots, smaller building. And it's not normally how we would do this. It just so happens it worked out that way.
That's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Well, obviously, I'm happy to see the new plan. Obviously, didn't like the last one, like, to be honest with you, the last one, once you showed us that picture, the rendering, when we were in the meeting across the hall, I said, wait, that just doesn't look like it fits in that neighborhood. And I can honestly say, Mr. Jenkins has done a lot of good work for us in City Hall, and that was the first time I ever seen him come in here, and he wasn't getting the approval from the neighbors, because he always goes to
Yeah.
the neighbors and gets the approval.
That's right.
And I was speaking about it to the law department here, and I said to the attorney who represents the law department, who's new to the city, to the law department, is he usually does what he feels is what's best for the city. So I'm not surprised that he came back with a new plan. He's always signed off with the neighbors. I mean, Dean, you've been coming here for a long time. I give him a lot of credit. That after seeing that they really didn't want it, that he came back with a new plan. So I give him a lot of credit for that. And most of all the other projects we've seen by him, he's done good work, because he knows we go up and look at it before.
It's only money.
Yeah, I hear you. That they say it's only money, especially if you have it. And if you don't, but, you know, but I mean, obviously the neighbors wanted something like this. It was, you know, we went through a lot of a lot of lengthy meetings on it, but I know some of the people who participated in the public meeting in the past did say if you come in with a single family or duplex, that they would go before the ZBA and speak on your behalf. And what I'm hearing from Ed is that they backed that up and went and did that.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, once you have the neighborhood approval, I'm usually on board as long as the neighbors are approved, I mean, unless it's something contrary to the engineering department. So, I understand the questions about the driveways and going back. I understand the fact of pushing it back, because we all know that Christmas, a busy street, especially how it turns right onto the highway there. And like you say, it's cut through from Tewksbury, cut through from Barica, and it does look better with the other houses in the neighborhood.
One other thing about that is, one of the other things we were thinking of is when someone comes to visit, be it a Amazon truck or something along those lines, there's now area for them to get off of Chrisman if they need to and get into the site without being out on the road. I know that was an additional concern of the
Yeah, but
abutters as well.
I believe this concern last time we discussed, if it stayed the way it was, about having like a no parking sign in that area
Yeah.
or something like that, for all the
Right.
deliveries and everything that
Yeah.
came. I know the neighbors were concerned about deliveries, they're concerned about fencing in the rear and the side, and the lighting that would be projected on those trips. So just going back, you said though, now you're gonna be cleaning up the sidewalk in front of this lot, right? Which I
Yep.
knew was a prior concern, but that's still, you're concerned to at least fix the sidewalk in front of this lot, correct? Well, now the 3 different lots, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, I think that sums up what I have to
Yeah,
say.
you said-
Any further comments as a result of what I said, or anything else the board wants to add?
One curious question. I noticed the fence line is not on the lot line. Is that going to be resolved with the neighbors?
That fence will just remain right now.
Okay.
Where it is, and maybe at some point in the future, it might be replaced with a new one.
So, okay, for all the fence line, all around the free lots right now, right?
No, yeah, the neighbor didn't want a fence.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. That clarified my question. So Chairman, may I make a motion to approve the definitive site, definitive subdivision, what's it called? Plan, yes, with conditions. So incorporate the conditions of the ZBA,
Which is the engineering comments in the 3 shade trees, 1 per lot. Okay.
and also that the applicant will get approval of the stormwater permit. And I believe the engineering comments also cover the curbs and the sidewalks already, so I don't have to repeat that in the condition.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've made that motion as described.
So we have a motion on the
I'll
floor.
second the
by Caleb.
motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion,
This is
Mr.
by
Chairman.
Sinead. All in favor, say aye.
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 Chair votes yes. Any opposition? Hearing none. So the matter is approved. Good luck. Wish you well.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Take care, Dean. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Aye.
The ZBA, they gave him 1,000 variances.
Yeah.
I was on it 20 years ago. Come on, really? You want that much?
Easier, I think, to CBA people.
Okay, moving along on the agenda. Our next matter is a special permit for 450 Chelmsford Street. Thomas Voice, on behalf of ADH Inc., has applied to Lowell Planning Board to operate an adult daycare facility at the above address. The property is in the regional retail zoning district and requires special permit approval for the use under Article 12.
Well,
May we hear from the applicant, please?
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Board. My name's Thomas Royce, and I'm applying for a special permit, as you just mentioned. I'm the president of My ADH Inc. My ADH Inc. is an adult day health care facility that is going to hopefully operate at 450 Chelmsford Street. What I'd like to talk a little bit more about is who are we, and then get into some of the various aspects of it. First of all, the vision was really to help the local community elders. Part of this was driven by Kim Tuyen T. Ong in the audience over here, and myself. I've spent 45 years in the Merrimack Valley, about 35 of them within the greater Lowell area. I actually started working at 19 years old for a little company called Wang Laboratories. So that gives you an idea. I believe that the actual property that I'm talking about wasn't even constructed. I believe I watched that being built. So the towers weren't up. We were in Parkwood at the time. So anyways, the whole thing here is to provide a higher level, or the highest level of quality adult daycare. Sometimes I think we have adult daycare, but we really, if I were to put my mother or father in some of these adult daycare facilities, I would be remiss. And so how do we get there? Well, one thing is, all employees are going to need to be properly certified. These are certified professionals if they need it. Again, we have the Massachusetts Health and Human Services standards, and we plan on following them, of course, 100%. Again, when we look at trying to provide not just a environment, but a warm and caring environment with friends. As far as other areas that we can look at is organizing these recreational activities and various healthcare-oriented services. So participants and staff will be the highest will be given the highest level of respect and dignity, providing a break for the family and friends in their normal full-time caregiver. Without that, if you think about it, they're working 7/24. This provides the healthcare family with a break. Again, it offers elders in the community a place to meet and socialize, right? It also provides us with direct alignment with sustainable Lowell 2025 objectives, civic management, organized social interaction activities, community pride, culturally rich and diverse, embracing health and well-being of the community, and then compassionate to elders, both mental and physical health. So when I look at what are my objectives really are to get the actual building permit, but before we do that, of course, we need to have acceptance of this special permit. One thing that we should probably note is that prior to the last renter of the leaser of that facility, there was an adult daycare, health daycare system there already. It was already actually running, and it was Monarch Daycare. The other thing is, what we want to do, my objective, is to demonstrate through this special permit my ability to maintain 100% compliance with the Massachusetts Health and Human Services. This is something new that they've required. So when I look at each of the planning board comments, what I would like to do is kind of address them one at a time. Some of them, as you can see from the handout, are already actually greened out. The project summary, really, it's to convert we look at regional retail within that strip mall. There's actually is regional retail, but there's also other facilities. There's a church. It was operated as a physical fitness center for a period of time. And there are other, for example, other facilities within that strip mall that are used for events, social events and whatnot. So it's not like we're changing anything. It's just that we want to do it right. We want to make sure that when Mass Health and Human Services look at this, they actually see that we're adhering to each and every one of their requirements. So the proposal basically requesting this special permit per Article 12.3, we're looking at the subject property, which is currently located, of course, in regional retail, and then finally it's a strip mall. All of these things were in your comments. The two comments that are of specific note, though, that I think we need to address to the board is that as the research was done by your team, right, and I want to give a special shout out to Peter Katrumbas, who actually shepherded me through this thing, and he really deserves a nod on this. Anyways, what we found was that there was no special permit at all. It was never done by the previous Monarch Healthcare. And part of that reason is that was not required. But what I like about the concept here is if we look at, in the next slide, the staff can't really validate that, but this is a new requirement, right? And what I really like about it, it provides really both the state as well as Lowell visibility into the fact that we are operating as an adult daycare facility. The other point that we need to make was the last comment 5, which deals with parking. So parking in section 6.1.4.3M basically has the board, right, the ability to approve appropriate parking. Now, in this particular case, this is not going to be an issue because everyone is brought in really in a van. We have 3 12-person vans, and what we do is these our participants would be picked up and dropped off. So permanently for for the entire 724, we would have 3 space requirements. The other thing that we would need is for our staff, another 4 to 8 parking spaces from 7 a.m. to roughly 5 p.m. when we close. The adult daycare, healthcare facility only operates in really an 8 to 5 type schedule, of which we try to get, of course, participants in before the traffic, right? In both cases, either earlier in the morning, we normally finish up around 3 in the afternoon. So we don't add really any traffic, and we don't really add any burden to the current parking, which is in excess of 300 spaces. It's huge if you're familiar with the facility. It's interesting because I mailed out over 70, neighbor notifications, and I didn't receive anything back, any negative comment or anything. So with that, I asked the chairman and the board to approve the special permit. Again, keeping in mind that 2 years and 6 months ago, it was operating as an adult daycare facility for a totally different company called Monarch. With that, are there any questions?
None at this time. What we'll do is see if anybody wants to speak from the public, and then after that, the board members can address any questions they have.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll just acknowledge my name is Andrew Kolar. I live at 524 Westford Street here in Lowell, and I'm the architect of record for this project. So if additional questions come up regarding the layout, some of the operational things, I'm here to support you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else, sir?
Nothing else, sir. Thank you, board, and thank
So
you, Chairman.
you started at Wing a long time ago. I remember being on the planning board here when we approved the site plan for Wing. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, it's a long time, man.
Yeah, it was.
Like I say, I've been in Lowell in this area. I know the streets in Lowell better than I know my own city, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how much time.
And if you notice the towers, it's shaped like a W.
W,
So
yeah, that was the
stands
goal.
for Mr. Wayne, yeah. That's where he used to put his helicopter on the top.
Yeah, Dr. Wayne was one of my inspirations in life.
Yeah.
He was an amazing man. I got
It
to
was.
speak with him several times.
Yeah.
And, one of the things he said, and, I've learned this as I've done several startups, and primarily a technologist, physicist actually, was that he'd said, with every new invention creates the opportunity for numerous more new inventions. And if you think about where the web went and the internet and all of that, think about where we are now versus where we were when I was 20. Clearly, I'm a bit older than that now.
I'm just glad I didn't have a cell phone when I was a teenager.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
You know, all that social media, I couldn't handle that, so. Thank you, sir. So at this point in time, would anybody like to speak in favor of this project? In favor? In favor? Hearing none. Anybody in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none. At this point in time, I'll turn it over to any of the board members who may have any questions.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Sure, Mr. Bichette?
I don't think I really have any questions. I just, one of the thresholds, the enhancing the community, and I am very much aware of the need, just so I can, to tell you how much it means to me, I've been serving on the Duville Life and Wellness Board since 2006.
Wow.
I'm past chairman, and I'm the treasurer right now, so. We used to do adult daycare there, and could no longer support that, and was relying on other agencies providing adult daycare. So there's a need for it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good location.
It's an outstanding location.
yeah.
If you know where it is, it's.
Oh, yeah. Now, we visit all the sites. Oh, yeah, oh,
We
yeah,
go
yeah.
there,
Yeah,
And
we-
actually, we approved the site to write the marijuana thing not too long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And we call it when it used to be the registry.
yeah.
yeah.
I remember when it was the registry.
Yeah.
I sort of remember when they built it, but I'm not sure if it
Yeah.
was that or another building next to it.
No, matter of fact, there's some speed bumps as you go by there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can thank us for those, so, yeah.
No, they're necessary though.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
we're dropping off
Yeah.
and picking up, it was one of our concerns. And the speed bump there actually makes it actually more more tolerable, if you will.
Yeah, right, no, that was.
If you don't slow down,
Yeah.
it does really a nasty job on your car.
So I just applaud you, I wish you a lot of luck. It's a difficult business, funding, reimbursements,
Yeah,
labor costs, So, yeah, a lot of
Takes
challenges.
time to, yeah, there's a lot of challenges. We got a good team.
Good, no, I wish you well. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you.
Caleb, any questions?
Nothing particular. I would just agree with my colleagues. Thank
Renee,
you.
any questions?
I have no questions. I'm in support of this project.
Danny?
Yeah, just quickly, who owns this lot, this building? Who owns it? Is it your company?
No, it's not my company. Frontier owns it. Frontier Properties LLC, I think, owns it.
Okay. When I went by it, I remember it being the Registry of Motor Vehicles, and it was fairly clean then. Now, it's fairly run down. So
That's true.
it would be helpful to have a business in there. My concern is that it's in that regional retail, and is that what the city and the master plan wants in retail is a daycare? No question, like Mr. Frechette mentioned, there's no question there's a need. There's a greater need every year that goes by. There's more and more people that need it. But when I went to the site, I was amazed that I only live right down near the Wang Towers. So when I went by here, I'm like, wow, this place is kind of a mess. So I'm
Kind of
hoping
is.
that you can pass along my well wishes to the owner, that some of this property really needs to be cleaned up. There's a place along the fence that there's nothing but trash.
Trash, that was one of the first things. By the way, whenever I come, I also do work for the Lowell Education Center, kind of, to help out in that area as well, because I'm a professional teacher. But I agree with you, and the first thing I looked at, I said, you know where the fence is, right? You know what I'm talking about, where it's collected?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't take a whole lot of effort just to get a rake and pick that up. It's really an eyesore. And those are the things that we'll bring to the table. We've got $150,000 just set aside for doing improvements. So we are going to, and this is why we need the building permit. But first, if, you can get a building permit and do all the work, but then if we can't run the business, we're just throwing away money. And so all new floors, all new painted, 6 new bathrooms. Yeah, that unit 5 will look like it's brand new,
If I may just add briefly,
Sure.
based on modern code standards, if Monarch was still operating the facility with what the current bathroom facilities are, they would be severely deficient to modern code. With all the proposed changes that we are making to improve that, they will not be deficient in any manner.
Good to hear, thank you.
I think, let the owner know, they're on notice,
Okay.
all right? There is no need of it. I mean, there's so many.
There's no need that, I agree 100%.
There's just so many things that, like your business, you want to run a nice business in that area, and there really is no need for it. So pass along the word.
Yeah, I will. The regional retail, if you really look at it, is moved to where the Target is. You know what I'm talking, right?
I do.
Right up there.
Yeah.
Most of your more popular retail outlets are by the Target, right?
Well, and you're off the beaten track.
Yeah, and that's
You're
part,
away from the street.
yeah. Which was fine when it was the registry, right?
Absolutely. No further questions.
Thank you, Danny. Mr. Lockhart, any questions, comments?
My one and only question was the activity level that you anticipate in terms of parking and traffic and that type of thing. And I think one of your screens there explained that to me, especially the impact that utilization of 3 vans is, it's very innovative, and we'd cut down on a lot of activity.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can hear me if I stand back.
So that's really my only question. I had it answered.
Actually, speak on that.
Right here.
Yeah, Mr. Lockhart, so what we're doing is our participants, because we actually pick them up in a van, a 12-person van. We have 3 vans. So the parking that we would need it's actually minimal. It's far less than what was needed for the workout club that was there before. Because the workout club, everyone's coming in their own car. Here, anyone that comes to our facility, other than the workers themselves, would come via the van. So 3 parking spaces for the van and 4 to 8 parking spaces for the staff, of which these parking spaces, the 4 to 8, would only be utilized from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yeah, so it's not as though we're gonna take up a huge footprint. And if you're familiar with the area, it's pretty big parking, and the time that there's overflow and there's issues with parking is usually at night when there's actually an event that's occurring and one of the other units in that strip mall.
Right. No, I understand that. I understand that, and, I like the project. I think it fills a community need, and I wish you luck. It's the only question I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lockhart.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, because, as Jerry was saying earlier, when we had the project in before, the way the parking lot is, it's just so vast. And that's why we ended up putting the speed bumps in, because it's like, driving through a shopping mall parking lot. I remember when I was first trying to go get my license, you go through there, you don't know which way you're going, you know? Everything was like.
The other thing that I don't like is the dumpsters on the back of the other. So the ones that are really on Chelmsford Street, you get to see all the dumpsters.
Yeah.
And it would be very inexpensive to put a small piece of fencing or whatnot, something that obstruct that. But again, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I know you said you have 12-person vans, 3 vans. So what do you anticipate, how many people would you be occupying per day?
I would lean against my marketing person, but after, we'll start out probably 25 to 30 people. Expand up. The maximum we can go to would be 72 participants, and it's limited by the size, by the number of bathrooms you have. Again, Mass Health and Human Services requires that you have 1 bathroom for every 12 individuals. We're adding, what is it, Andrew, 3 bathrooms and refurbishing 3 other bathrooms. So we'll have up to 6 bathrooms. So 6 times 12, 72.
Okay.
So, but that's gonna be over a longer period. We're gonna have to build that business. It's not
Sure.
gonna-
Oh, I understand, okay.
We'll start out with 25, 20, 15, and then, throughout the year, it would be great if we could get to 72.
So you have to comply by certain Mass Health and Human Services.
Yeah, you'll inspect it like a normal inspection would be done. They will come back in to ensure that we have pull cords in the bathroom, all sorts of other requirements for adult day healthcare.
And you don't fall under any regulations for our Board of Health, do you?
Not really, no.
No.
We're actually, in this particular facility, we don't actually cook any food. Any food would be brought in, and it would be done by a licensed provider of food.
Yeah, because when I was reading it today, I was curious whether you needed to go before health.
We'll have a preparation area, but we will not be
Yeah.
actually cooking food. We'll just be distributing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was curious about that, so I reached out and called the chairperson on the Board of Health and said, nope, that doesn't fall under our purview. I said, okay, good enough for me. Because we have certain things that do, like when we approved our zoning for like the body art, when we did the piercing and
Oh, sure.
and the tattoos and all that stuff.
Yep.
But I didn't know if any of this would fall into that category. I mean, not particularly that category, but a separate and distinct category. And they're like, nope, that doesn't come before us. So you just have your Mass Health regulations to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further comments by any other board members? I mean, we don't see this too often come before us, so of course we had a few questions. I mean,
No, it's no
and Jerry, we don't see this too
No,
often.
not at all.
No, but it sounds like it's a good proposal. And staff basically didn't have any negative things to say to you at all.
No.
No, Peter did a good job as usual.
No, Peter did a great job.
Yeah, he's very helpful.
He's probably tired of listening to me call.
So he's asking us to vote on instead of continue it, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. No. He is the nicest guy.
So what's the request of the board? We're looking for a, he needs the, special permit.
I'll make a motion to approve the special permit for 450 Chelmsford Street with no conditions.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second, Mr. Chairman?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes. You approve, sir. Wish you well.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
So Fran, on that last one, Sinead did vote and Dan didn't, okay?
Correct, yep.
Yeah. So moving along, we have, any further comments from board members or anything from staff? No? Do you have any updates for them talk of anything?
No, we are gonna have a, you know, actually, I should have had it,
Open house, right?
open house, yeah, I hope everybody got some communication on
Yeah,
that.
we got some emails. Yeah.
If we get, Fran, if you could probably, did we get something to send that back out, or Dan, I'll send something to you, but NEMCOG moved to the Wanna-Lancet Mills.
Oh, neat.
If you're familiar where LDFC is and back there, so on the first floor, it's actually a nice, beautiful office space, so. If you can swing by, it would be great. I was on the building search committee, so we had a good time with that, and that was, it's just a great location, so hopefully people can swing by and pop in. I honestly, I wish I had the date. I think it's March 12th? No, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, that's awful.
Let me
Yeah, I
see if
should
I
have
have
had
it in one of
it.
my emails.
Should have had it. Hold on.
Yeah, I remember getting the invite, but.
Who's running NIMCOG now? It was Beverly Woods for a while.
Yeah, no, it's,
I remember it.
yeah, Jenny Ray, I'm actually the representative, I've been on there since, well, Richard was, and then I've been on there now for maybe 14 years.
Yeah.
15 years. Jenny Ray, she actually comes from Arlington,
Oh, neat.
and very, very, she came to us with, let's say, a very, very strong resume. And I was actually on the search committee for the executive director as well.
So are they the ones that are pushing the Rock Bridge that hasn't happened and?
No, oh, no, that's well on track now. Oh, it
Yeah?
absolutely is.
Jerry's been keeping us up.
Oh,
to
yeah,
date.
I'm on that committee too, so I'll give you the update on
Because
that.
that thing was,
Jerry has bricks and everything.
Oh, no,
in
that's
the yard.
well on track.
that thing was designed, I don't know how many years ago, and then I hear they're gonna redesign it. I'm like,
No, it's
why?
design build stage right now, so they
Yeah.
can expedite it. And I actually have the timeline, I can actually give that to
Yeah.
you, but, stick around,
It's
by
actually gonna happen
2028.
while we're alive.
2028, we're gonna have a groundbreaking.
So I
Stay
have to make
healthy.
it, I have to make it 4 years.
Stay healthy,
You're telling
yes,
me.
yeah.
All right,
Well,
okay.
so groundbreaking is in 4 years, so that doesn't mean the project's gonna be.
Oh, my God, you're killing me. Miss Sigliano.
Well,
we
you
did
had
not
to
need
ruin
hear
that, didn't you?
Yes, it's 12.
No, that's,
That's the wrong one.
no, that's,
Yeah, it's in design.
So it's
no,
March
that's
12th.
different. No, that's different. That's
Oh.
that's the new date for the,
Yeah, I saw
we had to
that.
cancel it because of the
Oh,
non-snowstorm.
my God, it's horrible.
Oh,
That's what I just saw.
So I think it's the
Open house.
13th, is it the next
They
day?
did do a design.
There we go.
Yeah, so it is,
And.
so everybody, yeah, it's
They
March,
didn't want to build it. and they-
Dan, for NEMCOG, the open house is March 14th at 672 Suffolk Street, Lowell, and it's from 4 PM to 6 PM.
So bring my Rock Bridge questions.
No, not really. No, it's beyond them now. I mean, it's
beyond them?
MassDOT has it. Oh, yeah, no, it's, I'll give you the
Moving.
schedule. It's
Yeah.
moving.
It's moving.
Oh, no,
Jerry's
no,
been
no, it
updating
is, it is. I don't even wanna, no reason
Do
to
we
be
have any
sarcastic about it.
Band-Aids or rubber bands that we can use on the bridge?
Well, they've actually been, because remember now where I live, I hear the bolts every night when we're laying in bed. So they've actually been working to tighten them up. And that's what they've
Tighten the
been-
bolts?
They've been closing it overnight for the last, oh my God, I don't know, a couple months.
Yep.
And they close it at night, and they've actually been, that's basically
They're-
tightening up the
they're
bolts. and-
securing it?
Yeah, exactly, tightening up the panels, 'cause
Which
they
is a
loosen
little
up.
scary.
I know. I'm less cynical than a lot of folks, because I've been involved in it, but it's gonna look nice. It's gonna be a.
All right.
You can go, I'll give you the link, you can go to MassDOT, you can see the virtual bridge.
So it starts in 4 years. Ms. Sigliano, what's the estimated completion date?
Yeah, I don't know, you'd have to ask Jerry.
I'll get it for you, I'll get it for you, so you can let folks know, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good, and the funding has been put aside, it's real, it's very real.
It's real, it's
Yeah,
like the
it's
big
very
It's
real.
the closest we got.
Yep.
It was like a staple of the infrastructure plan for the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, in the last at the last meeting, one of the things they were negotiating is, because they're keeping the same location on Wood Street in Middlesex, but then it's gonna go diagonally across to hook up with the old ferry to have a signalized four-way intersection. But they were gonna, they're in negotiations with Market Basket. They were gonna have to take a little strip of property right at the corner, where we had actually approved the site plan for like a coffee shop.
Right.
So, at the last meeting, they were actually talking, and now they've actually pushed, there was a holdup for the traffic circle at, Old Ferry and Varnum Ave, that was part of the, we didn't make it a condition of the approval for Market Basket, but Market Basket was committed to that, to really be the traffic mitigation for that intersection, without turning into a city intersection, keeping that kind of suburban flow like in Pelham Center, and it actually can handle additional capacity with that. Their traffic engineer, our traffic engineer, Jeffrey Dirk, they all said, hey, this is the best solution. But one of the butters at the corner has been fighting it in appeal, you know who it is. And so finally, they've reached the point where they just both want a decision. So hopefully we should be hearing a decision on that shortly. But that's been tied up with COVID, and it's been a nightmare.
How many lanes in each direction for the bridge? Two in
It's
each?
four, it's a four-lane bridge, but you actually have a dedicated bike and pedestrian lane. You have observation decks where you can actually sit and bump out. It's really well thought out.
Travel lanes?
Travel lane, two going in each direction.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really,
That's awesome.
it is not gonna be a bottleneck that it is right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If it gets
The
done.
bottleneck, you know what the bottleneck will be? Wood Street.
Yes,
Wood Street will be the bottleneck.
yes.
Yeah.
And the original plans, they had it coming off of Drum Hill, and they were actually taking some of the land
Right.
along Wood
Well,
Street.
I think that's going back to Ed King as the governor.
Well, listen,
Right, yeah.
I might be dating myself. Dukakis, King, you know.
But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I'll get you the update on that, because I've been on the advisory committee since day one,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you guys, I feel bad. You travel that thing. That's horrible.
So any further updates? No?
And it's a shame because it was named after such a nice guy.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we have any other.
Oh,
No, none.
sorry.
Actually,
That distracted.
roll forward. We have a draft, so that's exciting. And we are finishing up the translations of the executive summaries, and then once those translations are complete, there will be a draft for review, and we hope to post that tomorrow, which will kick off a comment period for 2 weeks for the plan. So people will have like a tangible draft plan to review soon.
'Cause
for
in the
new
final-
updated comprehensive plan.
So the final plan will come to us for a vote and recommendation to the council, right?
Yep, after this
This
first review
period,
session.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an update of the master plan?
Yes, it's basically a whole new plan. It's more than, it's.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a lot more comprehensive, I would say, than the first one. The first one was an in-house plan.
Yeah.
This one, the budget, we were able to get capital funds and state, monies. So the budget was like $450,000, so we were able to be really like thorough with this plan, and we worked with the consultant, and it's looking really great, so I think you guys will love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've been on that committee too, Dan.
Yeah, Jerry.
All right, so when is that gonna get passed?
This spring, we'll see it, it'll come up.
That's not 2028, right?
No.
Okay, if we have no further comments, we can have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Yes.
So moved, made in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Good night.